Hi there, my name is Marley and welcome to my booktube channel. Today we are starting a brand new reading vlog where I'm going to be catching up on some of my most highly anticipated releases for the year that have already been out for a few months or so, but I have not got to yet. So it's a little bit of a reading new release catch-up video. So I'll just briefly introduce you to the 3 books I plan on reading for this video, and then we can get into the vlog, which I have already started. First of all, I'll be reading Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is a YA contemporary romance book about these 2 people who used to be friends, Celine and Bradley, but they had this big falling out and now they're basically like mortal enemies, but they end up getting thrown together when they do this special outdoor exploring program to make their college applications look better or whatever. So it's got enemies to lovers, and there's some good rep in there where I know Bradley is bisexual and has OCD. Celine, I believe, is plus sized and she is a TikToker, which is fun. This was highly anticipated for me because I have read Talia Hibbert's books before. I didn't absolutely love them, but I still was intrigued enough to want to read her first ever YA book. Then I'm going to be reading Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun by Elle Comimano. This is the 3rd book in the Finlay Donovan series, which is a cozy mystery series I have been liking. I give the first 2 books 4 stars, so anticipate enjoying this one as well. Basically, Finlay Donovan is this single mom, kind of struggling author. In the first book, she gets wrapped into basically becoming a hitman when someone overhears her talking about her book that deals with like murdering someone and is like a crime novel. They think that she actually is one in real life, so she starts getting wrapped up into all of this crime. And then last, but the one I am most excited to read, is going to be Riley Sager's The Only One Left. His new release, I just got this the other day, hardback. It's beautiful. I'm so excited to read it because if you know me, you know I love Riley Sager. He's one of my favorite authors, especially for thrillers. This is a bit of a spookier one. It is about this woman who has been living in this house for years, ever since her family was killed there. It seems like maybe she was the one that murdered her family. It's a little bit up in the air. And now she is an old woman and having someone stay there with her to help. And she ends up telling her the whole story of what really happened all those years ago and who really killed her family. So I really, really cannot wait for this one. So let's get reading. Hey guys, thought I would finally check in for this vlog. I'm standing up because I just did laundry and it's hanging everywhere and I have fans going all over, so I'm trying to get away from the fans so you can hear me. But I am halfway through Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute and I'm quite liking it. It's a little bit different than I expected, but it's very cute. So as I think I already introduced, it's about Celine and Bradley. They grew up being best friends. Their moms are friends, so they've always known each other. But where we are now is that they're in high school and they've had some sort of falling out, which you don't know the details at the beginning, but basically they are now enemies. And so it's very fun because they very much like make fun of each other, banter, bicker. Just a great start. I love enemies to lovers, so it's great. And they're both very academically inclined, so they're kind of like academic rivals as well. And they both end up going to this program where you can win like a scholarship and stuff like that. And so that's kind of the like forced proximity of them both being at this outdoor excursion thing, and they start like bonding again and developing that friendship again, which if you know me, I love enemies to friends to lovers. I love when there's kind of that friendship level in between, and that's definitely what this book is giving, so I really like that. Also, Talia Hibbert is really funny, so that has been great. And then as always, she has a really good rep of like Bradley has OCD, he's bisexual, and it's all very kind of casual representation, so that's good. The only thing that's different is that we had so much lead up to this trip to the woods I wasn't expecting, and then now there's actually 2 different trips to the woods. I thought it was going to be like the whole time they were on this camping trip, whatever, but it's actually like we're seeing a lot of their normal life like at school and stuff too, and then there's 2 different kind of excursions they're going on. Both of them also have like some trauma and stuff. Celine's dad left her, and that's kind of like really affected her and how she is. They're both just really great characters, which Talia Hibbert tends to do. So yeah, I'm just overall enjoying it. I'm feeling like it's gonna be a 4-star rating. I'm not necessarily like feeling the 5-star vibes, but that's honestly all I expected, was a 4-star from this. So excited to keep reading. My brain's kind of all over the place this week. I was away last weekend, so I just feel like I have a ton of like little things to catch up on and stuff, and it's really warm out right now. That's a life update. But yeah, okay, I will check in when I have finished this book. Hey readers, so I have finished the book. I'm so tired though. I spent the night at a friend's house out of town. Didn't sleep the absolute best, so it kind of was tough to get through the book, you know, when you're trying to read when you're really tired. So I think that made it like a little less enjoyable, but overall I did still like the book and I rated it 4 stars. So pretty good. It's nice because that's exactly what I expected from it and that's what I got. And there was some slightly annoying typical 3rd act conflicts that dealt with like miscommunication, which was a little annoying, but I honestly feel like it didn't last that long, and there was some like parallels between the beginning and the end, and I just think it was like really cute, and I think it had some good messages, and I honestly don't know if I have too much to say different than the first half. I guess something that I don't think I mentioned was Bradley's OCD. It actually was treated OCD, like he'd been in therapy for years and had a lot of coping strategies and things like that that he would use throughout the book, and I liked seeing that because I think a lot of times when mental health or mental illness is a focus in the book, it's like untreated, or it's like the character just kind of experiencing it for the first time and maybe it ends with them getting help. But it was kind of nice to just have that casual rep throughout. He's been, you know, treating it for a while and has all these strategies already in place, so that was kind of nice to see. So yeah, overall would recommend this. Again, I think even if you're an adult and not necessarily a young adult, I think that you could enjoy this with Talia Hibbert's writing. But because I'm feeling so tired and kind of blah, I think I'm going to read the Riley Sager book instead of the Finlay Donovan one, because I just think that one will really excite me, and normally I read his books in 1 or 2 days, so I'm kind of wondering if that will get me really excited and if I'll just finish it really quick like this weekend, and that maybe will help me catch up on my reading, because it's already the 8th of the month and I've only read 1 book, which is not great. So that's what I'm thinking, but I know we are going to watch a couple movies tonight too, so I'll touch base when I do eventually start the book and get halfway maybe. Good morning. So I am only at about 70 pages into the book. I was really enjoying reading it though, in between watching 3 different movies last night. We had like a movie night. First of all, we watched Outlaws, or The Outlaws, which is the new Nina Dobrev movie, also with Adam Devine, however you say it. It was not the best, not the worst. Adam did carry. He did carry. Then we watched Ant-Man, the new one, Quantum Mania or whatever. I didn't hate this as much as other people, but I also didn't love it. For me, I would say Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas carried. Love the parents in that. And then we watched Dungeons and Dragons, and that was actually my favorite one of the 3. I don't know much about Dungeons and Dragons, the game or anything, but I like fantasy stories. I like that medieval kind of era, so that was actually very fun. And I love Chris Pine. I feel like he is the superior Chris. Okay, hot take, but I'm not that big of a fan of some of the other Chris's, so I would recommend that movie. Follow me on Letterboxd to see my ratings whenever I watch a movie. But yeah, as for this, So I am a little nervous because I feel like I have guessed the big twist that there's gonna be. And as I said, I'm only 70 pages in, and I predicted this like a while back too. So I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to spoil in case I am right. Because I'm really scared I am, because I just feel like it's really obvious, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, we are following Kit, and she is a caregiver, which is different than a nurse. You basically have like less education and stuff. But she, of course, as our main character, does have her own mysterious past where she was suspended from being a caregiver for a little bit for a mysterious reason. It kind of gets revealed pretty quick. It's kind of obvious what it is. But yeah, so we have her with her own little thing, but she finally goes back to work and is given this case to go watch Lenora Hope. And she is this elderly woman who's been living in this house, the Hope estate or whatever, for all these years. She has so many health issues that she basically cannot speak. She can only like move her left hand. That's the only way that she can communicate. But the interesting thing about Lenora is that when she was like 16, her whole family was murdered. Her mom, dad, and sister were all murdered, and she was the only one left. And so everyone assumed that she was the killer, because who else could have done it? She was the only one left alive. But I guess there was no like definitive evidence that it was her. So she's just been living in this house chilling all these years, having different caretakers and stuff because she's had strokes and all these issues. So Kit shows up there and is obviously very scared because she's like, is this woman a murderer? But she kind of has no choice because this is the only job she can get. So we're seeing those chapters from Kit's point of view, narrating kind of normally, and then we're also getting these like typewriter chapters that Lenora is writing. So she's typing with her one hand her story and finally telling Kit kind of her side of the story of what really happened all those years ago. So I think I saw this being compared to Verity, and so I know why. I mean, we have this mysterious woman who we don't know if she's evil or not, and we're basically like reading her journal / diary in a way, because with Verity there's that manuscript, and then in this there's this little typewriting thing that she's writing. So I can see the comparisons, and then we're just slowly getting those chapters throughout. So it's one of those things where I'm like, can we just keep getting those chapters? Like, I just want to hear her full story. But yeah, as I said, I'm not going to say everything because I don't want to reveal too much, because I think I have it figured out. Riley Sager normally has multiple twists, so I'm not saying I figured all of it out, but I just really think I know one of the major things. And if it's true, I'll probably be a little disappointed, but let's see. It's Sunday. I have a few other things I want to do, but I mostly want to read this. All right, guys, I'm officially halfway through the book. Unfortunately, I do feel like the theory I had since the very beginning is still true and is still going to come to fruition, and it's kind of something I can't stop thinking about. But that doesn't mean I'm totally disliking this book. As always, I really enjoy Riley Sager's writing. I'm flying through this. I think I'm going to finish it today because I'm just enjoying reading it so much, and I find it so easy to get through. We have had the plot develop a lot. We've learned a lot about some different characters that for a second I wondered if my theory wasn't going to be true because we were getting all these other plot points and stuff like that. But I am still certain that it's going to be true, but I think there's obviously still a lot of other details woven into the plot than just that one aspect that I've guessed. So we have had a couple other little fun reveals and stuff like that throughout, so that's why I am still overall enjoying it. But I think the fact that I know this one thing is going to happen, it won't be a 5-star like some of his books have been for me. But of course, there's still room for me to be surprised. Maybe my theory will not be true, but I think it is. And yeah, I'm still feeling kind of the same comparisons to Verity that I mentioned earlier. So I do think if you liked Verity that you would like this. I think that's the main takeaway here. And because I'm reading so much, I'm not really getting through my other to-do list items I wanted to do, but you know, oh well. I'll get to them eventually. Hey guys, it's the next day. I did finish the only one left last night though. I just didn't feel like updating. And this morning, I've been very busy working actually. But finally, I'm here to give my final review of this book. And I know I said before I wasn't gonna give it 5 stars because of that little thing that I had predicted. I'm here to say I'm giving it 5 stars actually. So yes, that thing that I had predicted early on and thought was very obvious. Technically, I was right about that, but the second half of this book, oh my god, like we got so many twists, like twist after twist after twist. And so the little aspect that I had already figured out, whatever, like there were so many other layers to it and so much else that kept coming out. This was like, I don't know if I want to say it's his best book. I need to reread Home Before Dark because I know I love that one for like the multiple twists that kept happening. This one, same vibes, like so many reveals, especially in the second half. I saw people say the first half was slow. I still didn't find it slow, but even if you do, get through to the second half because so much happens. It's just so good. So yeah, I'm here to rave about it. This is going to be one of my favorite books of the year, like Riley Sager's books normally are. Just not disappointed at all, and I haven't seen that many people reading it. I don't know if it's because the last couple books by him a lot of people didn't like, so now he's kind of dropping off from the hype train. Get back on it. If you haven't liked his last couple books, I highly recommend still checking this out. I do think that you'll like it. I do think you will be very surprised and enjoy this, in my opinion. I really support this book, and I read it in a day. I could not stop reading it. His writing's just so addicting to me every single time. So easy to get through. So yeah, I'm very glad to see that this was an anticipated release and it came through, delivered that 5-star rating I was looking for. So very excited. And now I'm only 1 book behind my Goodreads goal instead of 2 because I finished it so quickly. So we love that. Now I will be moving on to the 3rd book of the vlog, of course, which is Finlay, Donovan. And it's the 3rd book in a series, so I will, of course, do my best not to spoil or anything like that. It's kind of sad knowing like it will not be as good as my last read, but hopefully it can still be at least a 4-star. Lying in my bed, reading a little bit, just felt like checking in. I am at the 40% mark of, I don't know why I bothered showing that, 40% of the way through Finlay, Donovan, Jumps the Gun. All the titles are just getting mixed up here. So as I predicted, it was taking me a little while to get into this. I think partly because of a little book hangover situation after The Only One Left, because as we saw, I love that book. And it's always kind of sad just going from such a good book to one you know is not gonna hit as hard. So yeah, the first day or so I was like dreading kind of reading this, but you know, honestly today I've actually been getting more into it. I also think I've had that same situation with the previous 2 books in this series, that it's always kind of slow. Sometimes the characters and different things can be annoying, to be honest, but then once you get into the plot, like it's pretty fast paced and it's more enjoyable. So I have gotten more into it. I am feeling like it's moving quicker and I'm not dreading reading it as much, so that's good. Obviously I don't want to spoil things for the previous 2 books, but we are mainly following Finlay, who, as I said, is a single mom, author, all that stuff, keeps getting wrapped up in crime stuff, as with most cozy mysteries. She has her sidekick Vero, who I really like. Basically, they, by this 3rd book, have done some stuff, and they basically are being forced to do something and find someone that they don't really want to do, and that involves going to this police academy thing. This book is very focused on the police force. In previous books, obviously they were involved, and like Finlay's main love interest is a cop, Nick. They are going to this program where the police have like opened up for random civilians to come and kind of see what it's like to be a police officer, see what training they have to do and stuff. Very random. But yeah, so Finlay and Vero are there, and that's the main focus, and they're trying to find the person they need to find there. So at first I'm like, this is going to be super obvious who the person is. I was already kind of suspecting people in the last book, but I guess they're kind of putting more suspects in. It's not as obvious necessarily. And then we are getting, you know, obviously stuff with her and Nick, which I've never liked Nick. I actually really hate Nick the cop. In the beginning, in the first book, there was more of a love triangle. She had another love interest and I really preferred him. So it's definitely disappointing for me that like book, it seems to be more focused on Nick. And Finlay's husband is still just being annoying. He's a really unlikable character. But yeah, I am liking it still overall. So I think we're on the right track for it to be at least a 4-star. So yeah, we will see for the next half. What did you get?
An espresso maker.
Woo! And that was for what, Prime Day?
Prime
What is
Day,
it?
yeah.
Prime Day? Ooh, we're so bougie now. Ooh, a little coffee date. Ignore how dirty our table is. Hey guys, happy Friday, for me anyway. I finished Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. Is that the one? I think I did this in the first clip too. I keep forgetting which one this is. I think it's Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. It was losing me for a little bit there in the middle of the book, not gonna lie. I was feeling like nothing was really happening, but by the end it always does have a pretty interesting kind of action-packed ending. So once I got the action, I was in it, you know. I stayed up late to finish it because I was invested. Unfortunately, I would say I didn't enjoy this one overall as much as the first two. Not by a huge amount. I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars. But in terms of kind of the mystery, where the main thing is trying to figure out this specific person's identity, I was kind of disappointed, kind of let down by who it ended up being. We had a certain kind of idea of who the person might be, or like what type of person it might be, and just kind of came out of left field a little bit. It wasn't what I wanted or expected. I just really did want it to be a certain person. I thought it would have been really juicy if it was this person, and it wasn't. Yeah, I can't really get into more specifics without being spoilery. In terms of like the romance, like I think I already said it in the first clip, how I don't like Nick the cop really that much. I don't want to be repetitive from the first clip because I don't remember what I said, but like I guess they are making him a little less annoying, so maybe I don't mind him as much, but it's just clear they're making him like the main love interest, so don't love that. But I do feel like they have added in a new love interest. I think Julian, the lawyer, I think he's done for. I think he's gone. But I feel like they did add a new love interest into the mix. I'm getting some vibes and I like it. I like this ship more. It's another cop. This is pretty, I saw other people say it too, this is pretty like a pretty positive look at police officers. I know a lot of people don't love those sort of takes on police officers in recent times, so maybe be aware of that before you continue the series or get into this. It's a pretty positive look at police officers. But then the end, okay, I'm a little nervous, and I see a lot of people getting this way too, saying they don't want to continue the series anymore. It is definitely getting dragged out a lot. There's certain parts of the plot I am interested in. I'll just say, like, stuff that's going on with Finlay's ex-husband, I'm interested in that storyline. But then there's stuff that's going on with Vero, who ironically is my favorite character. She has a history and we're finding out more about it, and I just don't really care because it's not really relevant to the rest of the plot and the main stuff going on with Finlay. So I don't really care about Vero's stuff, and it seems like next book is going to be focused on that. So I am a little worried about the next book. I think the next book is called Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. I quickly saw, because they're going to the Atlantic City. I don't know if I'm going to be interested in that if it's in another location and not like with our main characters and our main town, if we're going like out of the city. So I'm not going to be as excited for the next book, I don't think. But yeah, I think I'm giving this 3.5 stars, which is a little lower than I expected. But actually I kind of did expect to not like this as much because people haven't been liking it. Anyways, enough from me. That's gonna end the vlog. So overall, pretty good vlog. Really liked Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. Absolutely loved The Only One Left, and felt, you know, pretty mediocre, but mostly liked Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. So let me know what you have thought of any of these books if you got to them. I think I'm calling it a new release vlog. I know not all of these are super new, but they did come out this year, so I feel good that I was able to catch up on some of these books from the year. Yeah, just let me know if you have any thoughts. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you have not already, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully in my next video. Bye.